Well, I'm doing five herbs in this video. I have just barely touched my herbs. I have got so much to do, my lord. This is going to be like a whole huge series. So, the first one we're going to cover is Acacia. It's a masculine herb, and the element is air. And the deities, I might not pronounce these all right because I don't use deities, okay? But I'm just putting this out there for those of you that do. So if I mispronounce one of them, you just chuckle, just laugh with me because, you know, I don't know if I'm pronouncing them right. I'm going to say Osiris. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Astara, I believe, is how you pronounce that. Ishtar, Diana, and Ra. The powers are protective and for psychic powers and abilities. The ritual uses are the wood is used to fuel in sacred fires in India, and it's also used in building temples. That was ritual uses. The magical uses is the sprig of the tree placed over the bed wards off evil, as it does when tucked into the turban in Eastern countries. When the wood is burned with sandalwood, the psychic powers are stimulated. Now, Acacia, you can get the gum Arabic powder. You can also get the berry powder. Instead of that being Acacia, it's known as Acacia. Got the Acacia gum Arabic powder, and it looks like this. It's very fine powder like flour. It's really pretty. It's pure white. I gotta let my poochie in. Come on, let's go. Come on, let's go. Okay. It's from the Arabic tree. The acacia trees of the Darfur region of Sudan are harvested for their resins variously known as gum Arabic, Indian gum Arabic. Although acacia trees are found throughout the gum belt of sub-Saharan Africa, Kenya, Mali, Nigeria, and Sudan, the plant is most abundant in Sudan. The acacia is a plant in the family Mimosaceae, related to the mimosas of the southern United States and a close cousin of legumes. It would not be inaccurate to think of the acacia as a tree-sized woody spiny bean. The plant only produces acacia gum under adverse conditions such as poor soil, drought, heat, and damage to the tree. That produces more gum. For these reasons, the most abundant harvest of acacia gum is produced in Sudan. In the southwestern United States, a potentially toxic plant, which is a species of the acacia, known locally as Una de gato, cat's claw, is frequently confused with the medicinal plant Una de gato from the Peruvian Amazon. It's not the rainforest herb, and it's not a source of acacia gum, although it is sometimes sold in herbaceous as either or both. The parts used is the gum. The typical preparations. Come here, Chico, honey. You gotta come over here so Mommy can lift you up. Oh, I'm trying, big boy. There we go. We got you now. Okay, acacia gum is used in a variety of products ranging from inks to ice cream. In herbal medicine, the gum is used to bind pills and lodges, I can't pronounce it, you know, cough drops, and to stabilize emulsions. It's also used to produce a medium for applying essential oils, balsams, resins, camphor, and musks. Acacia gum forms strings when combined with cherry extract. So the next one we're going to do is borage. So that you can try to see what it looks like. This is what the borage plant looks like. I grow this in my garden. Whoops, I gotta get it on camera. Hold on. That is exactly what borage looks like. And it's kind of got spines on the stems. Though they're pokey, like little tiny needles. They're very skinny. The little needles that are all down the stem, so you have to be careful. You can eat the borage flower. Right here, the purple flowers. Okay, this says, it's been used since ancient times to flavor foods and drinks. Borage was thought to counter depression and to promote health. It's also known as the star flower. Borage is indigenous to Syria and was spread throughout the area around the Mediterranean by the Romans. It is now found growing in much harsher climates throughout Europe and parts of North America. Stiff white prickles, which those are like the little skinny needles that are up and down the stem, is often considered a weed. In earlier times, it was planted alongside vegetables and fruit bearing plants to encourage the bees and pollination. A health-giving oil is made from its crushed seed. Infusions are made from its leaves, which can also be used as a poultice or a compress. Even its flowers can be eaten raw in salads, teas. Borage historically was thought to make a man merry and joyful and give him courage. The medicinal uses for borage. The Pliny said that borage drunk in wine induces forgetfulness, while Francis Bacon, which is from 1561 to 1626, said it hath an excellent spirit to repress fuliginous vapor of dusky melancholy. Borage oil was traditionally used for the treatment of arthritis. Culpeper wrote, "The dried herb is never used, but the green, yet the ashes thereof boiled in mead or honey water are available against inflammations, ulcers in the mouth or the throat, and to wash and gargle with it." This was also used for fever and influenza. Flu-like symptoms of a hangover oil extracted from the seeds has been found to be very effective. When it's pounded, the seeds and the leaves can be applied to the skin as a poultice to treat coughs, colds, and bronchitis. The petals can also be made into cough drops for coughs and sore throats. Drops of oil can be vaporized in boiling water to make a homemade inhaler. It's a mood elevation drug. Borage should be drunk as a tea. It was also given as a general tonic for convulsing patients. The tea was recommended for nursing mothers to increase the production of breast milk. Traditional healers used it as a remedy for premenstrual, menstrual, and menopausal complications. Oops, I got baby puppies that are crying. Borage can also be used, the flowers and the leaves are infused and left to macerate in oil. They're thought to impart hypoallergenic and emollient properties for the treatments of dermatitis, acne, eczema, and mild inflammations or rashes. Borage oil, marketed as a dietary supplement, has not been reviewed by the United States Federal Drug Administration. So that's borage. Okay, got two down is Spirulina Powder. And it's a beautiful green, and it's a very fine powder, much like flour. It's gorgeous. A bit more on borage. I just found some more information. The Roman naturalist Pliny extolled borage for its power to make men merry and joyful, and well into medieval times. Borage leaves and flowers steeped in wine were a popular remedy for melancholy. Competitors in jousts and tournaments drank borage tea to strengthen their spirits. I, borage, bring always courage, was a familiar rhyme for centuries. Today it seems more likely that the chief effect of borage is to lift spirits, and that lie in pleasure brought by its bright blue flowers, which are traditional motif in embroidery designs. It's easy to cultivate. Borage was planted in gardens throughout Europe, and from there settlers brought it to America. Bees love borage and make an excellent honey from it. In the late 1600s, doubt crept into the public mind about how useful borage was as a medicinal plant. However, the plant was used to flavor wine drinks, while the candied flowers were popular sweets. Borage is still used in salads and cooked as a green, and the flowers are used as garnishes or in teas for summer drinks. The leaves flavor cordials. The fresh leaves and flowers have a subtle cucumber flavor when steeped in water. Although borage has been consumed for centuries without apparent ill effect, current research suggests that it can be harmful if consumed in large dosages. Borage has been used for kidney and bladder ailments, to soothe sore throats, to help reduce fevers, and as a poultice to soothe skin inflammations. Spirulina powder. For centuries, the native peoples of Mexico, Africa, and Asia have eaten spirulina and made it one of their major sources for protein. The blue-green algae is plentiful in lakes and inland bodies of water that are warm and alkaline. The plant's chemical makeup is 65% amino acids, including the essential fatty acid gamma linolenic acid, known as GLA. The high concentration of amino acids has made the spirulina a popular nutritional supplement for those who are unable to obtain sufficient calories and protein through diet alone, particularly athletes who burn calories at a high rate. In addition to amino acids, spirulina is also a rich source of numerous other nutrients, including many essential vitamins and minerals. Research into the medical benefits of spirulina is still ongoing, but there's no doubt about its nutritional benefits. The parts that are used are the dried processed algae. The typical preparations is it's taken in powdered form, and it's taken either as a capsule. You could buy the empty capsules that you pull apart, and you could put this in there and fill the capsule and close it up and make capsules to take. And you can get those at health food stores, the empty capsules, or you can buy them in bulk online on Amazon. They're incorporated into drinks, smoothies, shakes, and sometimes as a liquid herbal extract. If you're pregnant or breastfeeding, you need to speak to your doctor before you take this. So that is spirulina powder, and it's beautiful. The next one we're going to cover is Calamus Root. Again, it looks like dried root or bark. That would be the closest analogy to what it looks like. I'll hold that up again. That's Calamus Root. The calamus is poison, and several plants are sold under the name of calamus, and 2 of those are very dangerous to take internally. So we must recommend not using calamus internally whatsoever. It's a feminine gender, and the planet is moon, the element is water. The powers are luck, healing, money, and protection. Magical uses are the seeds are strung as beads and used for healing beads, or the powdered root is used in healing incenses and sachets. Small pieces of the calamus root are kept in all corners of the kitchen to protect against hunger and poverty. Growing the plant brings good luck to the gardener. The calamus is also used to strengthen and bind your spells. Calamus was referred to as sweet sedge or sweet flag. It's a reed-like plant that grows near water. Calamus comes from the Greek word kalamos, which translates to a reed. This member of the Acacia family has sword-shaped leaves and a lovely, pleasant odor. Known for its scent, calamus was strewn on the floors of churches and homes during festivals. An oil is made from its rhizomatous root that's strong and fragrant. Calamus is most notably used in perfumery. Native to Eastern countries, it has since spread to Europe, Japan, and northern United States. Walt Whitman wrote 39 poems for calamus in his famous work, Leaves of Grass. The parts used is the rhizome, dried and chopped or ground. Calamus can be incorporated into a variety of external preparations and topical applications. The root has been used in scenting hair powders, hair products, lotions, herbal bath blends. This is not for eternal use at all. And calamus is highly prohibited to ever be put into food products by the FDA. Okay, so then we're moving on to licorice root. Okay. Licorice root. Its gender is feminine. The planet is Venus. The element is water. And the magical powers that this holds is for lust, love, and fidelity. Magical uses is chewing on a licorice stick, the root, not a piece of candy, will make you passionate. It's also a good practice to use while quitting smoking. Licorice is added to love and lust sachets and carried to attract love and used in spells to ensure fidelity. Licorice sticks make very useful wands in magical work. This is what licorice root looks like. Let's see if I can get it up here so you can see it. Okay. Licorice root has made itself a well-known and popular candy for generations. And it's no wonder. Licorice is 50 times sweeter than table sugar. But it's acid, not a sugar, that makes licorice so sweet tasting. The acid's also responsible in part for licorice's amazing medicinal properties. When broken down by the stomach, the acid yields anti-inflammatory and anti-arthritic properties that act similarly to hydrocortisone in the body. Of course, it's never as simple as one chemical doing it all, otherwise we'd call it a drug, not an herb. Licorice works through a complex combination of constituents including that it makes soothing for inflamed and irritated tissues. It's an aid in human hormones by providing building blocks for the endocrine system and antiviral agents that effectively ward off infections, such as herpes and shingles. Licorice is most often regarded as a tender perennial, hardy to zones 7 through 10. A couple of fairly healthy licorice plants growing in the garden in zone 3, but should be brought indoors during winter. Generally speaking, licorice is another Mediterranean medicinal plant that prefers hot weather and full sun or partial shade. It prefers a slightly sandy soil with a pH between 6 and 8. Like all members of the Leguminosae family, licorice fixes or sets nitrogen in the soil. Seeds germinate well and quickly, and plants grow to be quite large and handsome. Space plants 1.5 to 2 feet apart in a sunny spot of your garden. Keep the soil moist until the seeds have germinated and the young plants are well established. Licorice needs a few years to grow to develop its full medicinal potential. You harvest the roots in the fall of the 3rd or the 4th year. Acid in licorice root can cause sodium retention and potassium loss, resulting in stress to the heart and the kidneys. Individuals with a history of high blood pressure, water retention, heart palpitations, and other signs of heart and or kidney stress should use licorice root only under the guidance of a qualified healthcare practitioner. Licorice root is also used as a mild laxative to help clean you out if you're doing like a full body cleanse. Licorice root is a favorite remedy for stomach ulcers. It was fresh juiced cabbage leaves and licorice root tea, with which cured gastric ulcer. Licorice tea and tincture are excellent for toning and strengthening the endocrine gland system and are a specific remedy for adrenal exhaustion. Most menopausal women and some men could stand to have their adrenal glands nourished with licorice root. Licorice gently supports the adrenal glands, the ability to produce hormones, and aids in the breakdown and the elimination of excess or worn out hormones via the liver and the kidneys. Licorice root is often considered to be estrogenic or estrogen stimulating. Of course, plants contain not human hormones, but phytohormones. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Or plant hormones that provide the building blocks the body uses to produce human hormones. In essence, licorice root may help the body produce more estrogen, but only by providing essential nutrients that the liver and the endocrine system need to produce hormones, and generally only if your system needs estrogen. Licorice has a long history for use for relieving throat inflammations and strengthening vocal cords. It has a thick, sweet flavor, which makes it a nice addition to tea in small amounts. Surprisingly, the root can be almost too sweet, and some people find its flavor rather offensive when it's brewed all by itself. To increase its palatability, try blending licorice root with other herbs in syrups, teas, or tinctures. You can also just eat the licorice root straight up, the dried or fresh whole root. Children especially enjoy chewing on licorice sticks. And if you want a gentle licorice root laxative, 1 part chopped dandelion root, 1 part chopped licorice root, and 1/2 part of chopped yellow dock root. Combine the roots, mix well, prepare as a decoction, following the instructions, and use 1 to 2 teaspoons per cup of water. Drink a cup or two as needed. If stronger action is required, increase the yellow dock root or add half a part of Cascara sagrada. And the adrenal tonic tincture is used for adrenal exhaustion. You're going to use 1 part licorice root, 1 part rhodiola root, 1 part chopped Siberian ginseng, a half a part of chopped cinnamon bark or ginger root, 80 proof alcohol, and honey to sweeten it. Licorice root is one of the most widely used herbs worldwide and is the single most used herb in traditional Chinese medicine today. It was used by the Egyptians as a flavoring for a drink called myasis, and large quantities were found in the tomb of King Tut for his trip into the afterlife. Pliny the Elder recommended it to clear the voice and alleviate thirst and hunger. Dioscides, when traveling with Alexander the Great, recommended that his troops carry and use licorice root to help with stamina for long marches as well as for thirst in areas of drought. In the Middle Ages, it was taken to alleviate the negative effects of highly spicy or overcooked foods. It was also used for flavoring tobacco and as a foaming agent in fire extinguishers in beer. In a recent survey of Western medicinal herbalists, licorice ranked as the 10th most important herb used in clinical practices. An astonishing number of Chinese herbal formulas, over 5,000, use licorice to sweeten teas and to harmonize contrasting herbs. Its first documented use dates back to the time of the great Chinese herbal master, about 190 AD. But it was certainly used for many centuries prior to this. In 1914, the Chicago Licorice Company began to sell black vines, the first in a very long line of licorice-based modern candies. And as mentioned before, the parts that are used are the dried root, and the preparation is tea, tinctures, and capsules. The whole sticks and slices may be chewed straight and are pleasant tasting. Again, if you're pregnant or nursing, you need to speak to your family doctor before taking or ingesting licorice root. Okie dokie. I think that covers it. That's the 5 herbs. Okay, guys, I'm going to call it quits for this video. If you stuck around to the end through the whole video, good for you. I'm so proud of you. Thank you. And like always, if you are a subscriber, thank you. And I'm glad that you're part of my family here on YouTube. If you're a new subscriber, welcome. And I can't wait to get to know you. Don't be shy. Leave comments. Leave suggestions. If you have any other knowledge, leave that in the comments. We all learn from each other. Nobody knows it all, that's for sure. I'm always learning. So, until next video, blessings.